All right, we're back. We
Technical difficulties.
got over it. All right, so
I think we got that point. This way a little bit. There we go.
no, then you got yellow
but the
shirt
background.
kid.
Oh, somebody's in the background. I don't know who that is.
Love it.
Okay, we're twinning today. Check it out. We grabbed the
Hit
same
back.
sweatshirt.
And because the camera's backwards, the words are reading right.
Yeah, because I'm on his left side.
Yes.
All right, so we have a few good ones for you today. So today we're reviewing our last religious movies.
Already?
I know, right?
What's
It's
the next one?
28th of April. The month is over.
It's almost not Pi Day, Cinco de Mayo.
So at the end of the video, we'll talk about what May is. So for right now, though, you get to hear about our movies.
Maybe it's
for the week.
Floral movies.
No. What?
Because April brings showers. Spiritual showers.
Y'all see what I got to put up with? Do you see? Hey, if you're here, let us know in the chat that you're here. We'd love to give you a shout out and say, hey. All right. So our first movie we're going to review is Left Behind, the movie from 2000 with Kirk Cameron. So it's the original of these movies.
I gotta say, I was with her the whole time when she was reading the books and filling
The books
me
are
in
so good
on the drama. Our bathroom at the last house was filled in the little magazine thing with all the left, all 20 left behind books.
Only one at a time.
And it's an exciting series. It was exciting to hear her and what the story was about. I was pretty intrigued by it.
Because he won't read.
Yeah, I can't read.
He can read. He just won't read.
The premise is the rapture has just occurred. So in case you don't know, that is when Jesus takes up all of his people, and which literally means everybody off the earth that has asked Jesus into their heart disappears, and the earth is left in chaos, followed by lots of you can say plagues and tribulations.
So imagine cars driving and the driver disappears.
Pilots disappearing, whatever.
The car keeps going, right? Because unless you hit the brake, it goes for a while.
If you saw the Langoliers, the Stephen King book, everybody just kind of disappeared. Yeah.
Similar thought. So that's kind of what happened in this movie. So all of those believers have been taken away kind of in a flash. There was no warning, no sign, no anything to the rest of the people. They just realized that their loved ones were gone.
And the focus on in this story was a one family. Was the guy a pilot?
Yes, and he was having an affair with a flight attendant.
That's right. And so the family, they have 2 kids, and so the older daughter and the husband were left behind, and the mother and the younger brother were no longer there.
Right.
And but nobody could make any sense of it. And so this movie was about a small group, this family and a few other people in their little the people that they run into, some key characters, them discovering what has really went down. Now, also, one of the key characters is also a pastor, which was, I think, an important detail.
Yes.
Because just because you are doing a certain thing, this is specific to the Christian faith, doesn't necessarily mean that you're good to go.
And also, to me, it kind of shows that just because you think somebody has it all together and has all the right answers and is doing everything right, does not mean that they are. They could just be putting out a front or a facade that they are what they aren't.
So this movie, I think, was in the 90s, right?
2000.
Oh, 2000.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of tell. I'd say this.
Oh yeah, horrible graphics.
The special effects are probably 6 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
But the story itself is
good. Good story.
Is good. Mm-hmm. And Kirk Cameron, Mr. Growing Pains himself. It's cool to see him on screen. It's neat to see these characters unfold throughout the story. So for me, I thought it was a pretty entertaining movie. This was later redone with Nicolas Cage in
which
a more
is really
modernized
good.
version.
Which I was hoping we would get to that one this week
Yeah.
too, but we didn't have time for that one. But
I've only seen a few stories that talked about the rapture, and I think that one with Nicolas Cage had a more what's the word I'm thinking of? Dramatic exit of everybody. Everybody just literally disappeared.
mm-hmm.
I forget how it was.
More
this one.
dramatized, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So this movie, he was talking about 20 books. So there's a lot of books in the Tribulation Force series, like the Left Behind series. So this movie just kind of scrapes the major details out of all of those books. So
It's a really important one.
if you like
Yeah.
to read, I would definitely recommend working through the books. They're super thick books, but they're so good.
They're probably easy reads.
They
They're
are.
easy reads.
They are. And there's so much drama and so much, you can almost feel the pain and the suffering and the details through the book. Just make it come to life, I guess. Make it feel real, feel like something that you need to consider. So
This
it's
is
good.
Maybe one of the only movies that talks about stuff that this happens in
In the future.
Revelation in the
Mhm.
Bible.
Yeah.
I don't know very many movies.
That predict the future or that talk about the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Revelation is a really colorful book if you've ever even skimmed
Oh,
it
yeah.
before. And so I'm kind of surprised that Hollywood hasn't really touched this one.
There's another movie too. I can't think of the name of it, but it talks about all of the different things that go on in Revelations. I want to say it's the 7 signs or the seven seals.
Is it an older movie?
I want to say it came out around the same time Left Behind did. Because I remember watching them together, or pretty much, one right after another.
The title refers to all the tribulations to come.
The 7 seals are the seals that'll be open and the bad things that'll happen. Kind of like, in the Bible and the plagues of Egypt, the 10 plagues. It's kind of like that. But this is during the tribulation time. So after the Christians are gone, taken away.
Really, I mean, it's really good stuff. The Bible is not a boring book.
No, not at all.
We were just talking about this in our small group today.
And it builds. I'm reading through chronologically this year, which I've never done that. I've kind of just always read from front to back, but
I'm listening.
I'm going to try to do it, chronologically this year to kind of see and make notes on how the people play out, like which order they play out. Because sometimes it's hard if you read just from Genesis to Revelations. It's not in order. So you think that this person's alive after this person when they really were alive at the same time, or even before one another. So anyway, Left Behind. So this specific movie, it needed some updates in the graphics, which it got in the remake with Nicolas Cage, and the dramatic effects were a little better in the remake. But this one, I like Kirk Cameron as an actor. I like watching him.
Yeah.
I kind of liked that the graphics were a little lower. I think it played well with the storyline. So I'd probably give it an 8. I just like it.
I think I would rate it the same also.
It's a good one.
It's an exciting story. I think that's the bottom line. That's what makes a good movie.
For sure. All right. And then the next one is Jesus Revolution. And I was just kind of searching.
It's kind of a hippie title.
I just kind of put in the search religious movies, and this was one that popped up. So I thought, I've heard about this one. And it came out last year, 2023. And it was in the theaters, and it was a big hit in the theaters.
Oh, it was.
Or so I read about. And it's rates pretty high on IMDb. It's a 7.1 on IMDb. So it's a well-liked movie. And it's good. So there's a few different stories that tie into this one. It's set in the early 70s, so the hippie era, right? So the hippies and their drugs and their just promiscuous wild lifestyle, and it kind of talks about how they're searching for this happiness, they're searching for this something that they don't have in what they're doing. And they're finding that the drugs and the lifestyle that they're living is just not, it's not giving them what they were hoping to get out of it.
Gee, George.
Right. And then the other story that ties in with that is that there's this pastor who's in this church that's kind of a dying church. I mean, it's not really doing well. He's preaching, but he's kind of lost his life with preaching. You know, he's lost his fire. So his church was dying, and they were very much stuck on I guess the rules more so than the love aspect of.
What kind of rules?
Just very much, you know, this is how it's always been, so this is how it needs to be. This.
Oh, tradition, I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess.
the-
Yeah, more, that would be a better
Okay.
word to say. Versus trying to reach the audience of the time of what's going on. You know, they were just very much, these are our people, this is our congregation, that's it, and we're happy with this. They didn't really care that their church wasn't growing. Well, when that happens, a church dies off because the members die off, right? And if you don't get new people
Not literally.
coming in, no, literally.
Oh, they died?
Well, no, I'm just saying a church that's dying. Like if you
That's what
keep
I
the
meant.
same people and you don't bring anybody in,
Yeah.
your church will die out eventually. So
People get bored.
yeah, you should be bringing in new all the time, and
Mhm.
especially when there's such a need in the area around you. Well, this was set in California, so that was kind of where I guess they were saying in the movie, kind of this is where the hippie era started and kind of spread from there.
That's when California was a nicer place
Was it though?
in the 60s and 70s. I think so. It was a place that everybody wanted to go to. It's not so much a
Yeah,
place
all the
everybody wants to go
hippies,
to anymore.
It's kind of always been the liberal capital of the US. And I think anyway, so this pastor, well, the pastor's daughter runs into this hippie walking on the side of the road, and she picks him up, you know, because we should pick up hitchhikers. That's the thing to do
There's a
when
movie
you're
about that.
a single female.
Yeah, there's lots of movies about that.
She was a smart one. But anyway, she got lucky because the hitchhiker she picked up was a hippie pastor, a religious guy. So he had a love for the hippies because he came out of that himself. So he was into the drugs, he was into that lifestyle, and
Free love, man.
yeah, he found God. And so he had a heart for those people, and he wanted to reach that community, and he could because he had been part of that community. So he understood where they were
What-
because he had come from there.
I think I remember seeing a big name in this. Who was that guy played by? He looked real familiar.
He looks like Jesus, like the portrayal of Jesus. Jonathan Rumi.
Oh, okay. Was there anybody else? Oh, I saw Frasier. I saw Kelsey
yeah,
Grammer
Kelsey
in this
Grammer.
film. Okay, that's who I saw.
He's the pastor of the dying church.
Okay.
And he meets the hippie preacher who looks like pictures you would see of Jesus. So he looks like what Jesus, you know, what most people think Jesus would look like.
One of the characters in Walking Dead got the nickname Jesus because of his appearance.
Yeah. So this guy looked like that. So anyway, the daughter brought him home to meet her dad and said, I think you need to meet this guy. He's on fire for God, and he wants to share, and he loves the hippies, basically. And the dad's like, okay, what are you trying to do? You know, and he wasn't sure he was all for it. Well, anyway, long story short, they end up teaming up and leading the church together. Well, of course, that attracts the hippies because this hippie pastor knew how to speak to them, knew how to play on their heartstrings.
Free weed.
No, he did it the right way. He was good about it. So they ended up having a huge congregation. Well, of course, some of the old congregation didn't like the new congregation and left. So the head pastor said, you know,
they were hippies.
They didn't like the hippies. They didn't want to even
okay.
give them a chance. And so the head pastor said, you know, anybody is welcome here to come and go.
Yeah.
Meaning if you don't like what's going on here, you can go.
Yep.
And so they left, a few of them.
Jesus invites everybody.
But anyway, as the story plays out, the Jesus pastor started making it about him rather than about the mission and about spreading the good news. He started making it a show. And when you start turning the work of God into a show, it doesn't
Things gonna go down.
pan out well. Yeah. So the head pastor and he butted heads and he ends up leaving.
Is that Kelsey Grammer's character that ended up leaving?
No.
The other guy?
Mm-hmm. He told him that, he couldn't, that's not what he's doing this show stuff is not welcome in that church. Like, he wants him to speak the truth and not, make it about a human.
Yeah.
But it should be about God.
Yeah.
About Jesus. So Kelsey Grammer character, he ends up taking back charge of the church and continues. And now he has a newfound love for the hippies and continues to grow the church. And so it was really, really good story. I mean, I thought it was really well played out. There's some characters in there you really get to know, some of the hippies that, were going downhill and kind of seeing death around them, seeing their friends dying, seeing close to deaths with drug abuse. And so it shows some of the substance abuse and kind of how it's affecting these people. And so it's good. It was a good, really good story. I kind of wish I would have gone and seen it at the theater when it was there. I like supporting good movies like that.
Sounds like a good one. I think I walked in, I think we were out of the house and came in towards the very end of it, and it looked like a good production.
Yeah, it is really good. So I would probably give that one an 8 as well. I thought it was good. There's some things that could have been explained a little better and could have been done slightly better. So that's why I'm not giving it higher, but I think it merits an 8. I think it was a good overall story. It was fun to watch. Yeah. All right. So that was Jesus Revolution from 2023. And then the next one, we went way back again to 2004. This one is called Saved. So you watched this one with me.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a spoof movie, right? It was, it reminded us a lot of Dogma, which was kind of a...
Dogma kind of mocks the Catholic faith.
This one mocks Christianity.
Yeah.
So, and there were some things that they made fun of that it was like, yeah, that's there's so many that fall into that.
I think like what Office Space did, this one did really well for highlighting all of the stereotypes that you see.
Yeah.
And you may or may not know the comedian Michael Jr., Black comedian, happens to be Christian, and he's
really funny.
Does comedy at some churches and as well as some other venues. But he talks about, Christians, he called it being oversaved. Mm-hmm. And so tying back to one of the last movies, Left Behind, where the pastor was left behind because he didn't really believe in his heart. He was just kind of going through all the motions, which is kind of highlighted in this film, Saved.
Yeah. So, so the point of it was to bring comedy. It could be offensive to some.
Yeah, it's
certain parts of it. You have to go watch this movie and understand that it was meant to be a spoof. It was meant to be.
It's an over-the-top film.
Over the top.
There's a lot of God wants me to do this kind of thing. People justifying their actions with that. Just by that
horrible
phrase,
actions.
Just by that phrase itself.
And saying that they saw some vision or had some dream. Okay, y'all.
Yeah.
Just because you think you had a dream does not necessarily mean it was from God.
And I think I heard
it goes somebody against the Bible or goes against what you know to be the truth. It was not God.
I think I overheard somebody say, "Hey, everybody come over here. I see Jesus in my waffle," or it was something like that,
So it was definitely over the top. It was meant to be a comedy. Some parts of it, I'm like, okay, they took that a little far. But
I can't recall any redeeming quality with regard to Christianity, or if the whole thing mocked it.
pretty much till the end.
Yeah.
This did have Mandy Moore in it, so she did a little singing in this one.
I think there were some people, these were high school age kids in their own cliques. So I think from a values perspective, some of those people who are normally didn't have anything to do with one another, they came a little closer together.
Yeah, and it kind of walks through. He says it was a bunch of teens, and they were at one specific Protestant school. So me coming from a Protestant school through grade school, high school, some of the things were relatable to me, to be honest. Yeah, sometimes the schools can be overly legalistic. Forgetting just kind of like the church in Jesus Revolution, kind of just overly legalistic and forgetting the purpose, forgetting that there's a love aspect to it, and that there needs to be some understanding and forgiveness and other things that are in there too. It's not just only about following the rules. There needs to be some grace given as well. So
us humans need a lot of grace.
we do. So anyway, would I call it a great movie? No. Was it sort of funny? Yeah. Was it fantastic? No. Would I watch it again? Maybe not.
I think it was it had nothing to do with the mocking Christianity, but just from an entertainment value. It wasn't terribly funny. It was just kind of a so-so movie. I would probably give it a 6.
Yeah. I would probably give it a 6 as well. Yeah. I don't know that I could give it much higher than that.
Because I think it could have been funnier, but yeah, it just wasn't.
Yeah, unfortunately. Okay. And then you remember we said religious movies, but they didn't have to be any specific religion, right? They just had to be spiritual in some way. So he likes his scary movies. I kind of like supernatural series shows.
I'm proud of her for picking this. I had nothing to do
and it's
with
entertaining.
This selection.
I think for me, it's less the
Why'd you pick it?
supernatural. I'm about to tell you. Will you listen?
Tell it.
For me, no, you can scoot back over. For me, it's less about the supernatural and the evil in it. It's more about the dynamic between the two brothers that I enjoy. Yeah. I enjoy watching their interactions together.
They're different. I enjoy watching the show also, and I have to say that for a series, the effects are pretty good when it comes to horror special effects. When the ghost comes up on the screen, or the dead person, it's
why be natural
when you can be supernatural.
What were we watching where they said that?
Judge.
Oh, yes. So funny. We were watching Matt Walsh's
Judged.
his new judge show called Judged.
It's it's based off of the show Judge Judy. It's got that kind of
similar
setting
to that, but it's Matt Walsh. So if you've ever heard Matt Walsh talk, he's very cynical.
Yeah, that's a good word. Cynical, yeah.
So he's that way as a judge also. And I don't know why somebody gave that man a hammer, because he is some other kind of something. He's fun to watch. But one of the cases that he was trying were these two women who fill themselves with Botox. So he calls it, what do you call it? Botulism toxin. And he kept asking her, why can't you just age naturally? Why can't you just look natural? Why should I look natural when I can look supernatural?
It's funny.
We all just start busting up laughing. Seriously, you missed the whole point of
Yeah.
Supernatural. That is not
Her lips exploded on
okay.
the airplane.
Yeah,
So
they did
there you go.
because she shot herself up with 9.
Six.
Oh, I thought it was 9. Oh,
Six
six
things around her
injections
lips.
around her lips,
Yeah.
and then decided to fly
Yeah.
to another country.
So she had to get all of her lips stitched up. It was
Yeah, she had to have surgery on her lips to reconstruct her
horror-like
lips.
movie. Anyway,
She said she got lip pieces on her
I
clothes.
don't even know what that looks like.
Had to get them clean. Oh my word! Hi, guest. I don't know who you are, but hello. We're glad you're here.
Hey, we have a special guest. Hey, are we ever gonna have a special
No.
guest?
Not the monkey.
I've been talking to him about it. He's getting excited about coming on here.
Yeah. What suitcase are you going to pack him in next? Okay. Anyway, back to our Supernatural. I've been watching it. It started in 2005,
He said
and
it's me.
oh, hi, it's me. I've been here. Hi. Okay. Cool.
Been here. Like where? Does he mean in the
So
house?
guess how many episodes there are of Supernatural? So guess how many
I'm gonna
years it's going to take me to
say-
watch them all.
Let's see. I'm gonna say 8 times. I'm gonna say 160. 8 seasons, 20 episodes a season.
You are way off.
Am I low?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's say 10 seasons. So 200.
Still really low.
Oh, okay. What is it?
327 episodes.
Oh my goodness.
I believe it's still going, or when did it stop here?
When did it start?
2020.
2005?
So it went from 2005 to 2020, and it has 327
Wow.
episodes. I think I'm still in season 1,
Really?
and I've been watching it a lot. But I only watch one episode a night, and I don't always get through a whole episode because
And these
I'm
are not-
already laying in bed when I start watching it, so I pretty much fall asleep.
And these are 40-minute episodes, so
They are.
That's pretty hefty. That's a lot.
Some of them are kind of scary, and some of them are just funny
Mhm.
because the things are so unrealistic.
They did a good job with the special effects.
On some
Okay.
of them, there were some episodes that I go
A little off,
totally cheesy,
like Stephen
ridiculous cheesy.
Stephen King special effects.
I mean, worse in some of them, just really, really cheesy. But other ones are good, and there's actually a scare factor in there. I wouldn't classify them as horror at all. They're
Oh,
just
really?
more
Thriller.
more supernatural
suspense?
thriller kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would fall in the same.
Mystery, maybe mystery, because they're trying to figure out, like, usually there's a death in an episode and they're trying to figure out how the death, so it's a death that the community of the death tries to just rule out, or just say that it was some odd unknown death, or they even say it was natural causes, but there's just something that draws these two brothers to the case. And so they pose as someone, usually an investigator or police officer or something. So they have these uniforms that they use, and they pose as
Yeah.
these people to kind of get inside information. And then they usually find out that these cases are supernatural because there's this demon that they're following
Would
that caused the death of their mother.
Would you put this in the same category as Ghost Whisperer and Buffy?
Not Buffy.
Not Buffy.
But Ghost Whisperer,
Yeah.
kind of.
Medium?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they're not really ghosts, though. These aren't ghosts. These are evil spirits that are
Okay.
intentionally doing harm. Not Sherlock
Sherlock.
either. No, Sherlock is more
Oh.
murder mystery, but they're actual murders committed by actual people. These are not.
So as the title implies,
These are not murders that are caused by any person. Some of them are ghost murders from ghosts, but most of them there's a demonic influence that's causing this. And so this demon is drawing these two boys to it while it's causing all of this trouble because it has a connection. And I just found out in the last episode, Sherlock with an imagination. Yeah, I guess so. I just, you find out more and more about the story each episode you watch. So I just found out that there was a reason why this demon is after the boys, because there's a connection with him and their dad.
Now, what gets me about this movie is that every episode they're on the road to go somewhere.
Mhm.
So
It talks about that. It talks about how they get their money.
they don't have a job.
Nope. So they commit credit card fraud and they
Oh.
steal.
Really?
It says that. And so they have like warrants in every city in everywhere.
They do. So there are criminals.
Yeah, they're criminals.
They don't interact with
But they
law
say that
enforcement,
it's
do they?
it's for a good cause because they're solving these murders.
So they justify
So they justify
their crime.
their
Nice.
crimes by saying that they're saving more lives than anything, because if they didn't catch these spirits or divert these, so the ghosts that cause these crimes, they have to go back and find the body and burn the body. When they burn the body, they disappear and all the trouble they cause disappears.
So
They
I
can't
think
hurt anybody else. So they justify it in that we're stopping these evil influences from causing any more harm and killing more people.
I think that was a creative way to put away a ghost, is to go back
Yeah,
to
they
where
have to
they
go
were
back and burn
buried.
the body. Mhm.
So
So they're digging up these bodies all the time.
that part reminds me of Sleepy Hollow, where they had to go back to his grave and return his head.
So it's sad. Some of the episodes where they find bodies buried in house walls and find places where, these people that had disappeared that nobody ever found their bodies, and they go back and they find them and then solve the story and figure out who caused the crime. And so for a couple of them, they were able to turn them into law enforcement, and as a trade to leave them alone, they turned in the criminal to the law enforcement. So they kind of trade. Hey, don't arrest us, but we brought you this guy.
Wow, okay.
So
Interesting.
they kind of work it that way. So yeah, there was one episode where there was these women that were being killed by this police officer. Actually, he was the women were attracted to him, and so he was taking them and doing things that were inappropriate with them, and then he would kill them and hide their bodies. And so they ended up solving that and figuring out who it was, and then turned him into his partner, and his partner, who was a female, ended up arresting him and putting him away when he tried to kill her because she was finding out. So yeah, it was a lot. There's some heavy, there's some heavy episodes, and some are, like, wow, I bet things like this happen, that people just do these things and try to hide it, or try to hide the people and try to hide the bodies and think they're never going to get caught. And
there was some pretty twisted stuff that we saw in Dexter too.
Yeah.
There was this guy who he took advantage of women, and when he was done, he put them in this river inside,
these big barrels.
Steel barrels.
Yeah. And so they found what?
A lot, like
30
50 something.
Is it 50?
A lot. It was a lot.
A lot of barrels in the bottom of this river.
Gross.
People are evil. Yeah. So anyway, I enjoy watching it. I don't watch it every night, so getting through 327 episodes might take me a while. I've been watching it for a few months now.
And I like watching it with her too. It's usually something that if we don't need to pay too much attention to sometimes, or
yeah, we have it playing in the background. I catch the story. Yeah. I like to get the story of it.
It's fun to watch,
because it builds as you go. So like if you miss an episode or part of an episode, sometimes I have to go back because I'm like, wait, what happened? How did this happen? So then I realize, I fell asleep last night. I got to go back.
So some episodes take 4 nights.
Some do, indeed. But yeah, I don't want to miss the story because it does build, and you kind of get more of the story as it's playing out. So they did a good way of doing. They did it good as far as that goes, because you want to keep watching because you want to answer what's unknown. So
as much as I've seen of this one so far, I think I would give it a solid 7.5.
Oh, I would too. 7.5 to 8. I mean, it's good. It's entertaining. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy following the story of the two brothers. And
like you said, the two brothers play off each other pretty well.
They do. Yeah.
They're very different.
They are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like opposite. Opposite values in life, opposite relationship wise, just opposite. And so, opposites attract in relationships, right? So in their partnership, it works too, because they kind of help each other and keep each other in check, I guess. So,
yeah. Yep.
It's good. All right, so there you have it. If you're looking for a good series that will keep you entertained for a while with all of its episodes, Supernatural might be for you, but you have to like a little bit of scary because there is a little bit of scary.
And since we're talking about supernatural stuff, if you like watching those silly YouTubers, the Paranormal Files is a fun channel to watch. It's just it's usually a guy and his dad, and sometimes he collaborates with some other paranormal investigators. They take their little tools that pretty much just measure changes in environment, and
I still want to go to the state
go
penitentiary.
to all these places. Yeah, we'll go to state pen one of these days. We'll get to use their tools and then
Find us some ghosts.
play bingo with demons. The bingo.
I don't know about all that, but anyway, all right. So there you have it. That is a wrap for our religious movies for this month. Oh yeah, I was gonna tell y'all. All right, so you talk for a minute while I get up our May.
So I'm gonna be reacting to this short. It's probably the shortest one that I've watched so far, but it's a good one. It's called 2 a.m. and I think it might be by a different creator than the other ones that I've seen.
I'm sure it'll be fabulous.
You should watch it.
No.
It won't take long.
I'm sure not.
It's only 2 minutes,
Oh,
but it's really good.
wasted 2 minutes.
It's so good. You have to watch it.
All right.
2 a.m.
2 a.m.,
Short
yeah.
horror film.
So if you want to check out a 2-minute nonsense, watch his review of the nonsense.
Maybe I'll get our special guest to watch it, see if he's into it.
Oh, I have nothing to do with that special guest. That is not anything, and no connection to me whatsoever. Just so you're aware. Okay, so May. Since Mother's Day is in May, we decided that this year May is going to feature movies with mothers. So, if you have any recommendations on good movies with mothers, so y'all, that could be any genre, right? Because there's mothers in everything.
Lucas, the Ant Bully. Praise the mother.
Yes, it can just mention mother and it
Praise
works.
the mother.
You're fired.
Praise the mother.
Okay, so next week it might just be me.
No, what?
Just saying. Ooh.
We're gonna
Next week it might be from our vehicle.
Oh, that's right, man. We're always on the road on Sundays.
Well,
except for this Sunday.
we're traveling, so we may, we're gonna go live, but our live might consist of children's voices in the background, and you might only see one of us.
You gonna remember? Should we pre-record a live?
No, then it's not live. It's pre-recorded. Doi.
Pre-recorded in a live studio audience.
No, we'll go live.
Okay.
We'll do it. It might just be a little chaotic, and it might not be long, but we will be there, and you will get to experience a car ride with all of our chaos.
Praise the mother.
He's fired. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another crazy live of ours. I don't even know what our Tuesday movie is going to be, so you'll find that out on Tuesday
Oh boy!
along with us.
Here we go.
Tune in on Tuesday and find out what movie that we have seen that we decided to talk about. And then check out Friday Faves and then whatever chaotic 2-minute crap he posts. All right.
Yeah,
So
something like that.
thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.
Bye. And
Okay, what are we going to talk about?